Hey there everyone, welcome back. Today we'll be reading SCP-3048, also known as Tantalus. This SCP has been recently recommended by a viewer, and I figured it might as well be a good time to get back into reading again. Let's get right to it. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-3048 is to reside in a standard humanoid containment cell. Approved reading materials and entertainment devices are to be provided and may be rotated on a monthly basis. To better accommodate the anomaly's diet, a small refrigeration unit should be maintained within the containment room. The entity is currently housed at Site-063. Meals containing 3 to 5 items named in Document 3048-03 should be provided 3 times daily. Dietary supplements must be provided with these rations. No beverages or unapproved edible substances should accompany any meal. The entity may request certain items to be included in its next meal. These must be approved by the senior researcher in charge of its case, currently Dr. Florence Daly. As the entity is incapable of consuming beverages, it must be provided hydration via intravenous line. Authorized medical personnel may enter the containment cell to perform tasks related to the maintenance of this, several times per day. Description: SCP-3048 is a middle-aged human male of European descent, possessing ginger hair and gray eyes. Its height has been measured at 1.64 meters, and its mass most recently at 46.3 kilograms. The entity has expressed preference for the name of Ruben Moretti, but it is equally responsive to the designation SCP-3048. Upon initial recovery, the anomaly was described as moderately emaciated. It has since regained 10 kilograms of body mass under the prolonged care of the Foundation. Medical examiners now consider the entity slightly malnourished. The entity's primary anomalous trait is its inability to imbibe most forms of food and beverage. Drinkable liquids, when brought near the entity's mouth, spontaneously evaporate. No change in temperature or pressure surrounding the event has been observed. Edible substances not listed under Document 3048-03 exhibit a variety of anomalous characteristics within a 20 to 30 centimeter radius of the anomaly's mouth. The most common characteristics of these substances, as noted by Foundation researchers, are spontaneous combustion and temporary loss of the properties of friction. 3048 was recovered on 18/01/2017 on a partially developed Mediterranean island 90 kilometers off the coast of Turkey. It is believed that the anomalous entity remained the sole resident there between the years of 1602 and 2005. With additional investigation, it has been determined that the island itself is not anomalous. Foundation operatives first noticed the entity while it was in the employ of a health resort venture on the island. The health resort had been established there in 2005 by a Greek tourism company. When pressed to explain how it came to speak fluent modern English, the anomaly claimed to have been taught the language by McClowan, its shift manager at the resort hotel. The anomaly has asserted that it arrived on the island after becoming shipwrecked. Historical records and recent diving expeditions have verified the existence of a shipwreck in the location and of the name given. A list of 53 persons who departed from Venice in late 1601 on the lost ship was recovered from a museum in Northern Ireland. 2 persons listed on the ship manifest are of current interest to Foundation researchers. One is a 40-year-old man by the name of Ruben Moretti, who was hired as the vessel's cook. The other is a 17-year-old boy listed as Teo Carlo Moretti. SCP-3048 is not previously mentioned relatives accompanied it on its shipwrecked voyage. Now on to Document 3048-01. Transcript of an interview with 3048 shortly after its arrival at Site-06-3. Interview 3048. Interviewer, Senior Researcher Dr. Florence Daly. Licensed medical practitioner and nutritionist. Forward. Transportation of SCP-3048 to the facility was delayed 3 hours due to inclement weather. Near the end of this delay, the anomaly discovered its ability to consume highly processed foods. It is believed that 3048 did not have the opportunity to interact with processed foods prior to this as a result of its employment in the kitchen of a hotel that only used whole ingredients. Due to the stress exhibited by the entity when personnel confiscated its snacks, 3048 was permitted to continue eating during its interview. Begin log 1801-2017 at 4:34 p.m. I will do my best to discern the difference between both the people speaking here, but I apologize if it's difficult. Dr. Daly. Good afternoon, SCP-3048. My name is Dr. Daly. I'll be overseeing your case. I'm sorry, what? My name's Ruben Moretti. Your designation here at Foundation is SCP-3048. I don't mean to sound threatening, but your stay will be much more pleasant if you decide to cooperate with us. Oh, sure, whatever. Alright, could you tell me how long... The anomaly grabs a can of Cheese Whiz from the table and squirts approximately 0.2 liters into its mouth. Dr. Daly wears an expression of disgust. Good lord, I love the 21st century. The anomaly proceeds to consume between 6 and 12 large marshmallows. Pardon me, but do you realize how unhealthy that is? I understand that you're suffering from severe malnutrition, but eating this much high-calorie content at once, you won't be able to stomach it. The anomaly chews and swallows. Doc, I've been starving since 1602. I don't give a damn right now. Since 1602, but the island you were on had fresh water and a variety of edible fruit, and you've been employed in a kitchen for the past decade. The anomaly reaches for a glass of water. The water vanishes from the glass as it brought to the anomaly's mouth. Sensors indicate that the humidity inside the room increases simultaneously. SCP-3048 appears disappointed. Yeah, between the lake and the groves, the island had everything, but the water receded whenever I tried to take a drink, and the fruit was always just out of reach. You mean like Tantalus? And I was cooking for a goddamn whole food health nuts at the resort. This processed stuff, and now this is where it's at. But what you're eating is barely even food. Exactly. The anomaly opens a second package and consumes the contents of a lime jello cup. It offers another to Dr. Daly. Oh, I'm in heaven. Want one? Dr. Daly sighs. No, thank you. She turns to face security personnel and addresses them. Let's end this here for now. Bring over that wastebasket and stay with the anomaly. I need to prepare an IV line at saline drip perm after he vomits everything he's been eating for the past 2 hours. Ends log 1801-2017 at 4:40 p.m. Closing statement. SCP-3048 regurgitated 1.35 liters of partially digested gelatin-based foods and Cheese Whiz. The entity did not resist Dr. Daly's insertion of an intravenous line in its left arm. On to document 3048-02, transcript of second interview with 3048. Interviewed 3048, interviewer Senior Researcher Dr. Florence Daly. Forward, Dr. Daly volunteered to change the entity's IV bag while conducting a second interview simultaneously. Begin log 1901-2017 at 9:48 a.m. Hello again, SCP-3048. I'm here to start your first saline drip of the day. We've got to get you rehydrated as much as we need to get you fed. Hey, Daly, right? It's Dr. Daly. Well, the last doctor I took anything from got chased out of town because boiled sheep urine doesn't cure the pox. Well, yes, medical science has come a long way since the 17th century. It's a science now, for one thing. Did you sleep well in your new accommodations? I slept blah. This place is boring. Can I at least get a room with windows? Good behavior might earn you a chamber at ground level. What is this, a hospital or a prison? It's a lot of both, and neither. You know what? I don't really care. For the first time in 400 years, my mouth doesn't feel like sandpaper. And those suits from yesterday gave me stuff I can actually eat. I'm down with whatever you guys want to do. So we have your cooperation? I suppose so. I'm glad to hear that. End log 1901-2017 at 9:52 a.m. Closing statement. 3048 has readily cooperated with the Foundation in most cases, and has proved highly amiable to Dr. Daly in particular. The transfer from subterranean holdings to a ground-level containment cell is currently pending. On to document 3048-03, a list of foods which SCP-3048 is currently capable of consuming. For a record of how the contents of this document were determined, see Experiment Log 3048-1. Meat and dairy products, Cheese Whiz and variations thereof, some forms of nacho cheese sauce, most brands of whipped cream, very thick protein shakes, fruit and vegetable products, maraschino cherries, carbohydrates, Pop-Tarts, Cheetos, and cheesy poofs. Other: Jello, artificially flavored fruit snacks, gummy candies, and marshmallows. Dietary supplements in the form of pills or capsules. On to Experiment Log 3048-1. Test 1. Edible substances: Cheese Whiz, marshmallows, and Jello. Method of consumption: standard. Result: success. This was a natural experiment that occurred after the anomaly was taken into Foundation custody, but prior to its arrival at Site-063. Test 2. Edible substance: fried pork skins. Method of consumption: standard. Result: spontaneous combustion. This was a natural experiment that occurred after the anomaly was taken into Foundation custody, but prior to its arrival at Site-063. My word, Dr. Matthews' terrible eating habits. Dr. Daly. No, sorry. Test 4. Edible substance: fruit snacks labeled organic. Method of consumption: standard. Result: loss of friction. Notes: the fruit snacks handled normally until they were brought within about 25 centimeters of its mouth. Then they started sliding like they were made of squishy ice. It didn't matter whether the anomaly tried to feed itself or us try to feed it. The laws of physics stopped working for the fruit snacks while they were within range. Everyone kept dropping them. Dr. Daly. Intent doesn't have anything to do with it either. Trying to stick fruit snacks into the anomaly's ears doesn't work any better than trying to stick them into its mouth. Dr. Daly. Test 5. Edible substance: fruit snacks, labeled organic. Method of consumption: 40 centimeter drop. Result: spontaneous combustion. This experiment was recorded as slow motion capture camera. Playback of the recording revealed that the combustion began at 30 centimeters from the anomaly's mouth. The tested substance was wholly incinerated by the time it reached 20 centimeters. Addendum 3048-1. SCP-3048 has been highly compliant to the this is Dr. Daly. Foundation's wishes since its arrival. I find myself inclined to gamble this willing cooperation by questioning the entity about a teenager's name on a 400-year-old manifest. Yes, we know the myth of Tantalus and what he did to merit his punishment. However, any parallels to that myth may share with the entity's history hardly have any bearing on our current research. This has been said: if anyone absolutely has to interrogate the anomaly about its aspect of its past, please do so with a low-grade amnestics on hand. Dr. Daly. Okay, now on to Proposal Experiment 3048-2. Message recipients: 05 Council, Ethics Committee, Site-063 Director. Date 13/2/2017. Details: medical examination, genetic sequencing, and tissue sampling over the course of the past 2 weeks have revealed nothing anomalous in 3048's physiology. Whatever lies behind the entity's longevity and its capacity to survive without nutrition and hydration remains as of yet unknown. It may better benefit the Foundation's research to see SCP-38 returned to a state of health before continuing tests. I propose a long-term experiment with the following investigation plan. Establish a healthy weight and lack of nutrient deficiencies as the control state for 3048. Begin regular medical examinations and tissue sampling. Test the effects of a single independent variable at a time. Record observations over a long period through symptoms, enough that symptoms become static. Allow 3048 to return to control state prior to the start of next trial. Some variables to investigate in this experiment may include water, vitamin C, iodine, and other vital nutrients. I believe these variables to be preferable for 2 reasons. One being the well-documented symptoms a non-anomalous humans experiences when deprived of such substances. The other reason is the ease with which we are able to manipulate the contents of 3048's dietary supplements without its knowledge. From the desk of Dr. Florence Daly. I'm sorry, I didn't even read that. Secure, contain, protect. 02/2017. Experiment 3048-2 has been approved. 05. That is the end of our story today. I appreciate all of you listening. Thank you very much. I hope this has been a great time. I apologize for messing up my words, but, just getting back into it. At some point I will learn how to edit and I will practice reading on my own a bit, but until then, thank you all for listening. Have a wonderful night, and do not forget to subscribe and comment. Bye-bye now.